morning. Please rise and join with me in our opening song this morning, Viva. Together in unity and love. Weave us together, weave us together, together in love. We are many textures, we are many colors, each one different from another. Entwined with each other in one great tapestry. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together, together in different instruments playing our own melody, each one tuning to a different key, but we are all playing in harmony in one great symphony. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together, together in love. A moment ago, still we did not know our unity, only diversity. Now the Christ in me greets the Christ in thee, in one great family. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together, together in love.
Good morning. One of my favorite songs, and I know how much Mark loves that one too. Inside joke for those of you who haven't been around for a long time. We're so glad you're here, all you beautiful people, in this absolutely gorgeous day. My name is Nancy Hazard, and I'm your platform assistant for today. We'd like to extend a special welcome also to those watching via live streaming. Good morning. So let's open today with a reading of today's daily word. The word for the day is prosperity. I open my mind to divine ideas, and new avenues of supply are revealed. As I'm paying bills, I may feel frustrated with my debt-to-income ratio. I pray for abundance and repeat affirmations. Why then does it seem as though the creative laws of abundance aren't working for me? I am approaching prosperity from a belief in lack. My focus is on my perceived needs. Since what I focus on increases in my life, what I am doing is creating more needs, the opposite of my conscious intention. So I shift my focus to spirit within. I learn to appreciate the ways in which prosperity is already present in my life. I open my mind to divine ideas, which immediately guide me to resources and channels. Prosperity comes to me in new and wonderful ways. And from Jeremiah 17:10, I, the Lord, test the mind and search the heart, to give to all according to their ways, according to the fruit of their doings. When I read this days ago, I thought, this isn't me. But many years ago, and for many years, it was, because I was in that place of thinking lack and thinking need, and my consciousness was just feeding me more and more of it. What I'd like us to do is think about this, first of all, in terms of our church. Okay, are we frustrated by debt-to-income ratio? Are we thinking lack? Or are we recognizing the incredible prosperity that flows around and in and through us? And the last part of this, I'd like you to close your eyes for just a moment and take this on. I kind of rewrote it for myself. My focus is on spirit within. I appreciate the ways in which prosperity is present in my life, now and every moment. My mind is open to divine ideas, which immediately guide me to powerful resources, channels, and people. Prosperity continues to come to me in new and wonderful ways, and we are so incredibly grateful for divine grace. Amen. Okay, and so now is the time for the children to go to Youth and Family Ministry and meet their teacher in the back of the room. We'll sing a children's blessing as you go.
We love you, we bless you, we truly, truly appreciate you. We behold the Christ in you.
Okay, now please stand as you're able and join me in our statement of being. It's on the screen. God is all, both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. And now if you turn to the people near you, behind you, to the side of you, in front of you. And anybody watching on live streaming, just give yourself a hug, or the person who may be watching with you.
All right. This is a new one for us, but most people know this. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Do that again. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for... Oh, we got to do that again. That sounds so good. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
What a powerful song, and so appropriate for my first announcement. Across the street today in the lawn at CNY Rise Center, we're having a Valley Ties event from noon until 4 p.m. So there's no fellowship downstairs. We're going immediately across the street. And then later, after at about 5 o'clock, we would greatly appreciate having volunteers show up to take down the tent and other things. The truck will be available then. Thank you, Mike. I know, truck at 5. Okay. So registration is due by this Thursday, August 31st, for Interfaith Dinner Dialogues, to be held on Thursday, September 14, from 6 to 8:30 p.m. The sign-up sheets are downstairs in Fellowship Hall. Chicken and Veggie Burger Barbecue is Saturday, September 9th, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're limiting the hours, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. We need help way before 11. So please sign up downstairs to help out with that very special fundraiser and community builder. And now Reverend Edith is going to speak about Jiggle Your Spirit today.
So, today is the kickoff of our fall series. We're calling it Jiggle Your Spirit Today. The acronym is JUST do it. It's involving this book. The books are here. We have a few things that are happening with it. Every Sunday I will be speaking on it, starting today. We have small groups. Right now we have 5 small groups. We have Lottie Adams, her group is already full. We have the one that'll be between services from 9:50 to 10:50 a.m. With Akosua or Ken Walling. We have Wednesday mornings that won't start this week but the following week at Ann Wall's house. We have Wednesday afternoon with Lottie. Like I said, hers is full. Oh, Monday evening with Sally Dosich at her home. And then Thursday afternoon with Lottie Adams. Some of you may remember her. Betty Levy. I had Betty in my mind and I said Lottie. Okay, hi Lottie. So Betty Levy, hers is on Thursdays. And the sign-up sheets are downstairs. If anyone wants to host another one at places where you may want to eat or whatever, just let me know. We'll put a sheet out. It's fun. There are guides that everyone gets. I have guides for those who already signed up, study guides. Really, it's, 4 or 5 questions, discussion questions every week, something like that. And you just discuss what happened during that week with the book. Of course, if you haven't read the chapters in that week, that's okay. The discussion and being with each other in small groups is what really matters. And then lastly, I will have a class on this book on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. I don't think it will go 2 hours. It'll probably be about an hour and a half because the discussion I really want to happen in the small groups. So I encourage you to go. If you sign up for a small group, you'll get 10% off of this book. The book is $15.95 plus tax. And so what is it? Do you remember, Shar? 10%? Yep. Yeah. The 10%? Yeah, it'd be like $15.51 if you sign up for a small group, so you get a little discount. Or for those of you out there in Cyberland, we do have a Facebook group called Jiggle Your Spirit Today, and your is UR, I'm just letting you know. So we have a Facebook page you could go on, and there'll be some dialogue and some discussions. We'll place questions there for anyone on Facebook or any of you who are live around the world, where we can discuss things too. So that's the 6th group. And again, we just want to have some fun with this. And at the end of it, on October 21st, we're having a big party. But I won't talk about that now. I'll tell you about that later. All right? That's what I have. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, and we would like to warmly welcome our guests. So is there anyone here visiting us for the second or third time, or who hasn't been here for quite a long time? Please raise your hand. Okay, Karen and Linda, welcome again. We have a gift for you downstairs in the bookstore, and you can pick that up after the service. Now, is there anyone visiting us for the very first time? No total newbies, okay. All right. So as you heard earlier, we invite all of you to stick around after the service and join us for fellowship and refreshments across the street at the Rise Center. Okay, now there are 5 basic principles on the screen. You will see Unity's 5 basic principles, the basic tenets of Unity. Can I see a hand of 1 or 2 people who would like to share how these have been demonstrated in their lives? Maria, why don't you go first? And please try to limit it to 1 to 2 minutes.
I just want to thank everybody for the power of prayer, because I've been sick for a while and didn't know it, and so I should appreciate your support, and I feel the strength of your prayers every day, so thank you so much for being my family.
Thank you, Maria. We're so glad you're here today. And now, Arthur.
I would like to thank God for being here today. I want to focus on the first one. God is the source and creator of all. God is good and present everywhere, and I can testify to that. You know, I went to my first AA meeting on Thursday, and it was awesome. You know, there's been a lot of noise pollution in my life, you know, the noise pollution of homelessness, the noise pollution of not being loved and cared for, the noise pollution of degradation, you know, and now that noise pollution is slowly going away, and I'm being replaced with peace, the whisper of peace that the ears of my heart can hear. And I want to thank Unity Church for stepping in and aiding me in my pursuit to get or stay clean. I remember something happened when we was here last time. A lady behind us said, do you have a home group? And we said no, and the next thing I know, Pastor Edith is over here, EJ is over here, and the next thing I know, you got a home group now. It was just beautiful. Thank you for letting me share that.
That's wonderful, Arthur, thanks. And one more, Mary. Let's have Mary share. Mary Noe.
This would be number 3. We create our life experiences through our way of thinking. And I'm thinking about this special day in this particular area, Onondaga Hollow, that was developed in 1788, and the individuals who were community-oriented, and the thinking of coming together to share. And look what we have created as a group, the Zen Center, Tim over across the street, in this group, to come together again and foster community love and caring. Number 3, we create our life experiences through our way of thinking.
Thank you so much, Mary. Until recently, Mary served as Town of Onondaga's historian, so she really knows this stuff. Okay. Now is the time to bless our prayer requests, prayer intentions. So will the prayer chaplain serving today please stand? Our prayer chaplain serving today, please stand. Okay, Christina and Leland, and Akoswa, who will probably be downstairs. Okay. Now, every Sunday we have silent time of meditation from 10:30 to 10:45, And from 10:45 to 10:55, prayer chaplains are available to pray with you, and again, of course, after the service. So at this time, we are going to bless our prayer intentions and requests with, Leland's bringing the prayer box forward. And as a reminder, Unity was founded on prayer. At Silent Unity, prayer has been continuous for over 125 years. So if you have not yet placed your written prayer intention in the box, you can do so at the end of the service, and certainly you can pray silently during this time. Prayer intentions are held in prayer in confidence. We don't read them here for 30 days, then we mail them to Silent Unity, where they are held in prayer for an additional 30 days. Okay.
Father Spirit, divine presence, we open our hearts to all possibilities and know that here are some intentions, some requests, and that they are being honored in their perfect way, answered just because there was the asking, the intention, in ways better than that could ever be imagined. For this is the true Spirit. And with this, we know that all is well, all is blessed, and all moves forward. We are grateful, and so it is. Amen.
And now is our meditative portion of this service. Some of you may have already closed your eyes, and if you haven't done that with me, if you could do so at this time and closing your eyes. And if you're not comfortable closing your eyes, I simply invite you to focus on one spot in the room. That spot may be this candle, it may be the front of your lap, just in front of your feet, or perhaps even looking at your hands while they're open. For we affirm that there is no spot where God is not. God is present right here and right now. So if we could take a moment to imagine a world, the world with these billions and billions of people, but imagine a world that is working together for a common good. Imagine yourself inside of that common good, and whatever way you believe, just imagine that there is this light right now that is shining upon you, shining brightly as you, moving through every cell of your body. And that light is radiating out from you to the person sitting next to you, the person before you and behind you. And it's radiating out to all of those who are preparing for our afternoon together. And that light that is shining brightly as you is shining brightly as all of people who practice various spiritual traditions. Muslims, Buddhists, Sikh, Native American, Mother Earth, Jewish, whatever spiritual community that comes to your mind, we know that we are joining right now with those faith communities as one. For that light that is radiating out from you is their light. And with our lights, our billions and billions of lights together, we light up the world. such that we are reflecting the sun as it reflects to us. May the light be with us. And we take this with us into the silence. You are a friend of mine. You are a friend of mine. Allowing our light to radiate out in this sanctuary to our inner sanctuary and back out to the outer sanctuary. We take a pause and feel the light while we're being the light. In the silence, we go deeper together as one, consciously connecting with the source of our being, God the Good, omniscience, in whatever way we tend to name it. In the silence, we go deeper together and say, you are a friend of mine. In the silence, we are one. I am the light. I am the light that is shining brightly as one. I am one with the one. And you are a friend of mine. And in this expanded state of awareness, we bring to our minds all of the prayer intentions in our prayer box. And if anyone has any person, place, thing, situation, four-legged someone on your mind who may be having a challenge or something we want to celebrate, if you could bring that to this expanded state now. For we are holding the highest and best outcome, knowing that all is well. And in this expanded state, we bring to our minds all of those who have been affected by Hurricane Harvey, seeing that there is a swift recovery effort, towns, cities, the Gulf Coast being restored and renewed. We surround them with our light, sharing our light with their light. May they be safe, may they be well, may they experience freedom and peace. In this moment, We are grateful. And so it is. And so we let it be us. Amen.
All right, I'd love everybody to join me in this beautiful song today. In God's house, there is room for all. Every person has a place held within the names of grace. In God's house, there's no room too small. In God's house, there is room for all. In God's house, there is room for all. Every child, a child of light. We're all precious in God's sight. In God's house, there's no room too small. In God's house, there is room for all. Room for all who hunger. Room for all who thirst. Room for all to love the one who loved us first. In God's house, there's no room for all. Every tiny grain of sand is a diamond in God's hand. In God's house, there's no room too small. In God's house, there's room for all. In God's church, there's room for all. Every eye and arm and hand bears the truth that understands. In God's house, there's no room too small, for God's prepared a place for all. Room for all who hunger. Room for all who thirst. Room for all who loved the one who loves us first. In God's house, there's room for all. Every child, a child of light. We're all precious in God's sight. In God's house, there's no room too small, for God's prepared a room for all. For all. In God's house, there is a room for all.
Am I moving around? What's going on? Uh-oh. Wait a minute, hold on. Okay. I hope that I'm not moving now. Thank you. I'm still moving? Uh-oh. Hey, I'm moving. Good morning, everybody. I'm Reverend Edith Washington Woods. I'm the senior minister here at this wonderful, amazing, beautiful church. How you doing? You are a friend of mine. You are a friend of mine. But what does that mean, being a friend? Well, I looked it up in a dictionary online, like I'm always on my phone or the computer, it seems like, more than I do anything else during the day. And this dictionary called Free Dictionary, you ever heard of that? And this is what it says about being a friend, the definition of a friend. A friend is a person who knows, who you like, and you trust. Would you agree with that? A friend can be an acquaintance, okay? A friend can be someone who supports, sympathizes with, or patronizes a group, cause, or movement, like Friends of the Clean Air Movement, that kind of thing. A friend can be a spiritual community called the Society of Friends, or Quakers. A friend can be the number of friends you have on Facebook or Twitter, yeah? I've got probably at least 1,000 on my Facebook page. I stopped counting. It's been, it's probably 1,200 now. I don't know. It's a lot of them. Did you know that the Latin word for friend is amicus? Isn't that beautiful? Amicus. And I used to belong to an organization back in Minnesota, and the name of that organization was Amicus. And we would visit people who were incarcerated, youth and adults. And the only mission we had was to be a friend to them. Some of those people never had any visits. And we were being their amicus, their friend. I also noticed a little bit of the root of where amicus comes from. And amicus is an old, there we go, yay, an old English verb, freon. And that means to love, like, honor, set free. Now, setting free like, excuse me, slavery or confinement. So I think about my best friend in the whole wide world. We've been friends now for 30 years. How do I know? Because we got to be friends before my youngest son turned, oh wait, I'm wrong. That's the twins that are 30. Okay, back up. My youngest son is 27. Thank you, Aaron, if you're watching. I didn't forget. I just kind of lost my mind for a minute. So he's 27. We've been friends 27 years since he was a baby. And that friend of mine, look, there was a time when I was working as an electrician. I had to be at work at 7, so I got up about 5 or so. Every morning we talked on the phone at about 5:30. Every single day, Monday through Friday. Hey, girlfriend, how you doing? Now, we don't get up that early anymore. That was a little while ago. We're a little older than get up at 5 and talk on the phone just because, you know, what are you doing? I'm getting in the tub. Okay. But that's what friendship is about, right? It's really being there through thick and thin. It's being there for someone no matter what is going on, no matter how they show up in life. That is what being a friend is like. Well, it's very easy to be a friend when you've gotten to know someone over time, isn't it? But what about being friends with someone we don't know? Well, I'm going to tell you a story about this boy, 12-year-old boy named Kevin Pratama. He was in a math competition. He was so good that he kept winning in his local, the competitions there in his local environment, and moved on to an international environment to compete. During that competition, he discovered something that was more than reading, writing, arithmetic, analyzing problems, trying to solve them and figure them out. He learned that life is about friends. Not just the friends that he had in childhood, but the friends that he would meet later in his life. You see, there were all these young people who came together from all over where he lived at to compete. They came there and not only competed, they studied together, they cried together, and each of them hoped to win together. Like each of them wanted to win, but then they were being in that space with each other together. In our wonderful book that's starting this week, I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm not doing nothing. You stay there. Don't move. Okay. There we go. So in Hands-Free Life, our author of the book, Rachel Macy Stafford, she suggests that regardless of our occupation, past history, or current life challenges, creating deep and lasting connection is possible. Creating deep, lasting connections was possible for these young competitors, even though they had some differences. Now, they actually had one thing in common, and that is that all of them were from Indonesia. Different parts of Indonesia, but they were all from Indonesia. But one of the main differences that Kevin noticed and remembered most was that each of them had their own beliefs and practices, the faith communities that they belonged to. Most of these competitors were Muslim. Kevin, well, he was Christian. And others were Buddhists. You see, each of them had these different ways that they prayed, which was kind of different and kind of unusual. Like the Muslim children would get up before dawn every morning and they would pray, and then they would pray about 4 more times every day. Kevin, he would pray before each meal, and he would pray before each competition. And the Buddhists, well, they sat in the silence a lot, and some of them even chanted. They all had these different ways that they practiced. But they were able to have a mutual respect for each other's religious practices. You know, it brings to mind that old English word, freon, to love, to honor, and they were able to love and honor each other's faith communities. You know, there were times, though, that these young people, that they had to work together in a teamwork. They didn't know each other, but they did this effortlessly. They were able to, quote, unite despite their differences, unquote, because they learned how to work together as a team for their higher good, which each of them wanted to win. This taught these young men how to respect and welcome new opportunities, be friends with and interact with others from a variety of faiths. It also taught them how to be in the present moment. Are you able to do that? Are you able to be with people from other faith communities? We do that pretty good, right, as Unity folks, but what about when it seems like they're being different than us, or they're doing unloving things, or that kind of thing? We could go to judge folks. And what these children are teaching us is, even with that, how do we come together? They also taught us how to be in the moment and despite any distraction. So, you know, if you're studying math and trying to recall the formula, you know, how to analyze it and whatnot, you have to be in the moment. You can't just be like off in La La Land somewhere. You have to bring your focus back to the moment in order to solve the problem, in order to do what they came there to do, and one would be the winner. But it's really the journey, isn't it? And not just the end result. The journey that each of them had, and that journey was part and parcel them learning how to be with each other. You know, in this book, Hands-Free Life, in this first section that we are studying, Rachel says that we often are looking for ways to fill the spaces in our lives. So she talks about in the introduction in the first of the 9 habits, and that is, how do we fill our spaces? Well, think about it. How do you fill your spaces? Some of us may fill our spaces by turning on the television in the morning and watching CBS This Morning or Good Morning America or some other news program. And then we may come home and watch programs like CNN, NBC, or HGTV. How about DIY Network? How about HBO, Showtime, Cinemax? I don't know about you, but I watch HGTV and DIY Network religiously, as if I'm practicing how to be like them. But when we fill ourselves with these things, it's also reflective of how we fill our spaces in our home, right? With stuff. So how much stuff do we have? I talked about that a little bit last week. The stuff that we accumulate. And then when we get ready to have company, we have to go put it in a bag or something so nobody sees it. Oh, you're laughing because you're just like me. I know. I did that last night. I was like, oh my God, I got to clean the house. Reverend Crystal's coming to visit. It looks good now. And until she leaves and all my papers will come back out, you know. I don't mind telling her either, hey, I cleaned up for you. I mopped, cleaned the bathroom, screamed the shower, cleaned the ceiling in the bathroom, make sure there's no water drops, stains. But we fill ourselves and our spaces with our stuff. One of the most important things that Rachel says in this book is she says that we have to learn how to be with things without distractions. That really what we want is to fill sacred spaces. We want to fill, F-I-L-L, sacred spaces. And when we do this, then we have the willingness to be with all that is there. In other words, we're able to be with the present moment. Now, Eckhart Tolle, one of our great friends here, yes, he says in the Practicing the Power of Now, he says that through self-observation, more presence comes into your life automatically. The moment you realize you're not present, you are present. Because oftentimes we don't even know that we're not being present in a moment, right? Oftentimes we don't know that we're filling our spaces with a bunch of stuff. Oftentimes we don't know that we're going home and turning on the television as soon as we get in. And then it fills our space. We just aren't aware of it. But when we become aware, that's when awareness happens. That's when we're able to know that there's this limitless to our life. Like it is unlimited. Everywhere. All the time. And that's how spirit is for us. Well, you know, those children in those math competitions, that they were living in the present moment, being with every moment of every day, and noticing. They were noticing what their friends were doing, their soon-to-be friends and then friends, and they just observed it. And it's a message for us to just notice what we notice and be with all that there is in any given moment, at any given time. We're called to be just like these children. And our Bible verse for today is from Matthew chapter 18, verses 2 through 4. And it starts off like this. At that time, the disciples came to Jesus and asked, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" He called a child, whom he put among them, and said, "Truly, I tell you, unless you change and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever becomes humble like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven." Well, I believe that heaven is right here on earth. Do you? And that these children from another location in this world are examples for us. They're really practicing our fifth principle. Our fifth principle says that we're able to practice and demonstrate and to take action. And that is what they did. They took action in going and saying yes to being in this international competition. They were also able to say yes to each other. They were able to say yes to people who were different than them, looked different, talked different, spoke different. Because even in a place called Indonesia, they have different dialects, just like we have here in the United States. Have you ever gone down south and they use different words for stuff, or gone to the West Coast and they use different words for stuff? You know, when I grew up in the middle of the country in Gary, Indiana, we called pop pop. Do you know on the West Coast they don't do that? They call it soda. They don't know what you're talking about if you say pop. What is pop? What's that? They also don't know what it is to have snow, unless they go up in the mountain. And they say, what is the snow like? What is a snowball like? And you try to explain, and they just look at you like, really? That's odd. So you just tell them, go up to the mountain and you can make your own snowball. Go get a snow cone and put that in your hand, and it's close. It's not the same, right? But people have differences, and yet we learn to come together. You know, that is a way for us to have willingness, that we get to have willingness when we join with other faith communities. And our spiritual power for the month is will, and the disciple is Matthew, and the color is silver or gray. So some of us have that on to represent it, and some of you wore it and didn't know you were going to wear it to represent it, but you did. Or we could just think silver, right? Like think about a silver mine or you know, some beautiful shade of gray. Oh, there's that book. You know the book. I haven't read it yet, but some of you have, I guess. You're laughing. 50 Shades of Gray. But with will, in the revealing word, Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, says this. Oh, that's not supposed to be there. That's supposed to be there. Okay. Our co-founder says this about will. He says that will is the use of the will is very important in making demonstrations. And here we are, back to Kevin and his friends, that they were able to make demonstrations with each other. That they're able to be the demonstration to us, just like Jesus the Christ. That as Christ Jesus became that illumined person, that we get to follow his path. That we get to practice loving our neighbor as ourselves. You see, being a friend is accepting someone for all of who they are, not just one part of them. Have you ever just loved one part of somebody and you didn't like the rest? And you said, I like that part, so I won't like, no. Being a friend is loving everything, every single thing about a person. And it could be hard, right? Like that's where our growth happens, right, Barb? That when we see and notice that it's difficult to do that practice of loving our neighbors as ourselves, of being friends to people, then that is where we stretch ourselves. That is where we're able to be with people in ways that we couldn't before. Remember Jesus with the Samaritan? All of the people were walking around of other faiths. They just left them laying there. And Jesus came up, a person who was different, a person who was being outcasted. And he was there for them. He was there for a lot of different kind of people. And that's what we're called to do and called to be. We're called to be with people and to stretch ourselves and work through the discomfort. Because when we work through the discomfort, that is where amazing grace is. That is where our light is shining brightly from us, from deeply within us to outside of us, to reach all people. You see, there is no limit to how our light shines unless we cut it off. But you know what? Even if you try to cut it off, it won't. Because your light just shines. And it shines and it shines. So are we going to limit ourselves? No. We're going to let our light shine. You see, it didn't matter for those young people who happen to be Muslim and Buddhist and Christian. We have this grand opportunity today, you guys, to join with our neighbors. It's like we're in this triangle, this little triangle. Here we are, Unity Church, and down the street we have the Zen Buddha Center, and then kitty corner to us over there at the top of the triangle is CMI Rise, a Turkish Muslim community. And you know, people are saying a lot of things about Muslims these days, but it took Tim to say, hey, let's get together. And we were almost saying it at the same time. And he's reached out to all his neighbors over there on Academy Green, and there'll be a whole bunch of them, and a lot of people. We're thinking it's going to be a lot of folks. And some really, really good food. They're having turkey gyros that they had to specially import it here from Pennsylvania. And they've been slicing that turkey and stuff, making the gyros since 8 o'clock this morning. And I mean, it's just going to be an amazing thing to go over there, talk with people, get to know them, and be. I'd like you to consider these words today. Here it is. Friends are a treasure of the heart, and you are a treasure of mine. So why don't we say that to each other real quick? All right, you got it up there on the board. Just turn around to somebody and say that. Friends are a treasure of the heart, and you are a treasure of mine. Turn to someone else, say it again. Friends are a treasure of the heart, and you are a treasure of mine. Go be a friend today. And our affirmation for today is going to help us get there, and we can say it throughout the week too. Here it is. I am honored to give and receive your friendship. You like that? Let's say that. Okay, you're good. Hold on, because some of us got it. Some got the memo and some didn't, and that's okay. So let's say it together, please. I am honored to give and receive your friendship. Let's say that again. I am honored to give and receive your friendship. All right, now put your hand on your heart. I'm not going to do that because this thing might pop, and I don't want to do that in the ears of somebody listening to it on the internet. And just feel your heart beating. It's beating. Every single one of us has a heartbeat that goes thup, 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 or something like that. Something like that, right? Thub da dub, I don't know. And just feel that their heart is radiating out love, peace, fun, generosity, friendship. This now moment. And I know you can feel it. It's an experience to have. And I trust those out there in love streaming land that you can feel this love too, because it has no boundaries. And we open our eyes and we say our affirmation again for today. Together, please. I am honored to give and receive your friendship. May we do that in every moment of every day and everyone we encounter and the people we watch on television. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Namaste, my friends. And now it's time for our tithes, love offerings, and gifts. You want to take your tithe or your love offering in your hand, and for those of you who give in other ways, whether it's downstairs on our credit card machine or give through the mail or pushing the donate button, you guys in Love Streaming Land, just want to put your hands together right here and now, just like this. And we say our love offering blessing together. Together, please. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. You are my source.
Now ain't it good to know that you got a friend when people can be so cold? They'll hurt you, yes, they'll desert you. They'll take your soul if you let them. So don't you let them. Sing it all. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, got to do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. You got a friend. You just call out my name. Come on, sing aloud. And you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. What are you gonna do? And I'll be there, yes I will. One more time. And I'll be there, yes I will. You've got a friend. You got a friend. You've got a friend.
You've got a friend, yeah. So I know you're wondering, what's Gandhi have to say today? He says, peace is its own reward. So may we have a peaceful day. I hope to see a whole bunch of you over there. I won't have these shoes on, I promise. And let's just go have a whole bunch of fun. Okay? All right, so, you take a moment to get ready to bless these tithes and love offerings. I know some of you are rubbing your hands, maybe even out there in Love Streaming Land, you're rubbing your hands too. And then we just noticed how the energy just vibrates from us. That is the energy of love's presence. That is the energy that is radiating out from each of us in every moment of every day. And in this moment, we give thanks for all the tithes, love offerings, and gifts. We give thanks to the giver because we know the giver understands that when we give, it comes back to us tenfold. Each of us has given in this day by being here in this service. May we give as we go and share with our neighbors. May we give as we go out to be with other people in this world and know that it comes back to us. Even when it doesn't look like it, we know that it is true. We give thanks for these and all the blessings we have. And so it is, and so we let it be us. And so it is. Amen. I hear them. Here they come. Uh-oh. Woohoo! Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh, God. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking. We are walking. We are walking in the light of God. Hey. We are walking. We are walking. We are walking in the light of God. Oh. So while they're coming up, I just want to let you know, I want to thank Todrick for going with me to OCC, that's our community college, on last Tuesday at the their spirituality fair they have at the beginning of each semester. Thank you so much, Todrick. Thank you. Hey, Natalie.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon. What's up?
So a quick announcement, we have a back-to-school supply drive on September 10th. If any of the children are needing supplies, please come. It'll be during service for us with the kids. And let's do some introductions. So can you say your name, please?
Emily. Selma. Khalees. Sophia. Tiffany. Nikki. Curtis. Tavia.
Jake.
And Dana. Rhea is out in the crowd somewhere. There you go.
Hey.
So today we talked about order with the UNA kids, and we put what is most important to us. We made a priority list. And Curtis, do you remember what was on top of your list?
prayer and meditation.
All right.
And that was a little surprising because video games was underneath it. So I was like, wow.
Well, maybe they pray and meditate during the video
Well,
game.
that's what Tavion was saying. You know,
That's
he's like,
why
we
they
can learn.
so focused, you know?
And then, well, let's finish the unit kids. And then what was on top of your list, Sophia? Do you remember?
Talking to God.
Talking to God. Whoa.
And then what did the older kids do? Do you want to say something about that?
Learned about will. And that will is powerful.
We were just wrapping up Will for like the end of the month, and we were talking about like the places in your brain and everything, and how understanding is right here and it's so close together because you have to like make them relate and connect, and how Will, like what Will means to you. So, and I said that Will means like a form of integrity, of knowing and feeling you're like being responsible for your actions and stuff.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, again, I hope to see everybody next door for the community cookout, and thank you for your endless love and support.
Yay. Thank you. Okay. And we have our children's blessing and affirmation. If we could say that, please. We bless our children wherever they are. We see them surrounded by love and light throughout the week. We have a thriving, expanded youth and family ministry. Yes, we do. And our prayer for protection, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And a peace song, everybody. Uh-oh. Why y'all so far away? Look at them. They're way over there.